everybody? It's Luther Wilson III. Today's Monday, September 23rd, 2024. In today's video, I want to talk about real estate again. Go figure. A lot of you know I'm a real estate professional here in the Kansas City market, representing for Upside Property Services and Upside Capital. And today I want to talk about 3 ways that investors or people with capital can invest or place that capital. All right, so I'm going to go over those 3 things, go into detail a little bit about those items, and then also some ways that I think today are really relevant. All right, so those 3 ways. When I think of real estate investing, overall, a lot of it comes down to the capital and the financing and the opportunities that come your way. All right, so depending on how much capital you have access to, your skill set, your goals, your intentions, what you're looking to do, if you or your partner can qualify for financing and what kind of opportunities or deals you can find, you can then kind of determine how to go forward. And hopefully you got a game plan for all that before you start looking, hopefully. But those 3 ways I think of are value add properties, okay? That's the first one. The second one I think of is turnkey properties. And the third I think of is notes, okay? So value add properties, it could be new construction, it could be renovation projects. For whatever reasons, that's where most of us go first, all right? We're looking for opportunities, we're looking for off-market deals, fixer-uppers, whatever, however you want to word it, but that seems to be the most appealing and attractive early on for real estate investors. And it requires a lot of legwork. There's a lot of time and energy as well as capital that goes into those types of opportunities, those types of projects, and those could be fantastic. We've had success with that. I've had a number of clients that have had success with it, and a bunch of colleagues of mine do value add types of projects as well. All right, so just want to touch on it quick and then we may circle back on that. All right, the second one is turnkey properties. All right, houses, properties that are ready to go, okay? Single family homes, multifamily, commercial. A lot of times, not in every situation, but a lot of times on the turnkey, ready to go, livable type properties, there's going to be some type of financing involved, okay? So that's a key part, is the leverage. And sometimes, investors or a fund or a group can come in with cash, but I think for the most part, investors are going to be using some type of leverage for ready to go properties. And as you can imagine, you can get to cash flow or get to revenue a lot sooner than you can when you do the value add or the fixer upper or the new construction type of projects, okay? So we're gonna get into that a little bit more here in a few. I wanna go over the third one real quick, notes, okay? Notes, also known as private mortgages, okay? For a lot of people out there who may not be familiar with that, private lending. Lending to investors, lending to property owners is a huge way for people to create revenue and cash flow, okay? So that's been something that has been a thing that I've dove into the last few years as I've been investing, representing buyers and sellers, doing the property management, the project management, and so forth. As I've gone through the process with clients, with partners, doing value add, doing turnkey properties, we have needed to leverage and borrow additional capital to acquire and to get through projects, to get through refis, and even get through resales, okay? And we've had to tap in to private mortgages and notes. And as we've done that, I've started to see some opportunities in that space as well, all right? So again, based on, what your plan is, how much capital you have access to on the front end, you and your team, you and your partner, if it's by yourself, depending on your credit score, depending on your reserves, depending on your experience, you or your team and your partner, okay? That together, knowing all of that up front and then determining, okay, how can we make that happen, all right? Because a lot of us get into the game, okay? I got in as a leasing agent. Actually, before that, I was wholesaling, okay? Looking for deals. That's one of the easiest and main ways for investors or would-be investors to get into the game. And then from there, you can kind of maneuver and choose how you want to operate. And then as you get into projects and you start taking them down yourselves and acquiring them and fixing them and maintaining them and managing them, you start to see how a true real estate investing business works, how it operates. There's a number of moving parts there, and human nature, like a lot of times we're not gonna know what something's gonna be like until we're in it, okay? We can definitely learn from mentors and other people around us, but for whatever reasons, a lot of us need to go and get our head kicked in, or we need to fall on our tail and learn some lessons and get back up. Hopefully we can make that happen sooner, and faster with the assistance, of course, of mentors and advisors, which I'm real big on, which is part of the reason I'm putting these out there, to hopefully educate, inspire, and collaborate with some of you out there, because I had good mentors along the way, good business partners, and good clients, and I didn't necessarily see the benefit of collaboration and paying for good information and mentorship until later on. So hopefully some of you out there can see this and it'll inspire in you, and you can make some moves that much quicker, okay? So how are you gonna put that together today? If you're watching this video, I'd imagine you're at least interested in real estate. If you're not already investing or practicing somehow, you might be a realtor, a wholesaler, a contractor, property manager, lender. You may be an investor who's already in the game. You've done some flips, you've done some projects, you've done some wholesale, you've done some buy and hold, and you're trying to figure out, okay, we're over halfway through the year, things have changed, okay? Are we gonna do value add? Are we gonna do turnkey? Are we gonna do notes? What's the play right now? Because what was working 6 months ago, 2 years ago, may not be working so well today. So, things are different. So I know me and my team, my partners and so forth, we're a little more cautious now. We're a lot more strategic. We're conservative with our figures and so forth, and what type of opportunities that we look at and take on. So 2 years ago, we were doing the BRRRR strategy, value add all day long, crushing it, buying houses off market. Okay, 4 years ago, we were buying houses on market. Okay, 2 years ago, we were buying houses off market, doing the rehab, doing the refi, cashing out, doing seller financing from there, and absolutely killing it. Well, things change, the market shifts. That's part of being in business, that's part of life. So we had to adjust. The start of 2022, interest rates went from 3% to 7%. If you were in the middle of projects as we were, we had to make some very drastic, some sharp pivots to be able to continue moving forward, staying in business, continuing to serve our customers, our clients, our residents, tenants, and so forth, and then also being ever mindful of mitigating risk, limiting our exposure as we are continuing to move forward as real estate entrepreneurs, investors, and so forth. So you gotta think about that, where we're at today, where I see opportunities. We're in the Kansas City market. If you've been tracking, then you know that I favor B-class single family homes in and around Kansas City. We can make that happen all day long. Houses in that $200,000 range, some higher, some lower. But again, where I see some changes is how we can acquire those properties, okay? And what that looks like, the process for acquisitions. Going the value add is gonna be even more costly now and more time consuming than it was a year ago, 2 years ago. So if we are gonna do that, if you're looking at doing that, then okay, the deal's gotta be so sweet, because what I've noticed over the last few years especially is investors think that we're doing a great deal. On paper, it looks great. The numbers, all in, purchase and rehab, 70 to 80% of the ARV. Well, once it's all said and done, more often than not, investors go over budget and past the deadline on that project. a lot of times we end up in the same position that we would have been in if we were to have just gone the turnkey route, figured out the front end capital for the down payment, the gap funds, whether we're using the existing financing or we're getting new investor financing. We're going to end up in some cases, in a lot of cases now, in the same position as if we would have just put 10, 20, 30% down on a property that's ready to go. And then from there, getting to cash flow, getting to revenue, however that looks for you and your investment business, your investment model. Okay, so that it's key to look at these things because, and you could refer back to some of my videos that I've done where I talk about gap funds, existing financing, seller finance transactions, of course. Those are my biggest things that I'm pushing right now. Investor financing, seller financing. So look at some of those past videos and determine, okay, if you have $20,000, $30,000, $100,000, $200,000, and you want to invest in real estate, okay, you may not even need to do the investing yourself necessarily. You could put that capital behind a contractor, behind a seasoned investor. You could do a joint venture capital partnership where one is the capital investor, the other is the managing investor. You could be in first lien position, okay? That's part of the private capital, the note game. That is another huge thing right now. There's different ways to structure these opportunities to where you could still be in and you don't necessarily have to own the property. If you want to own the property, then you can structure it so that you have ownership and you get to enjoy not only some of the benefits, the tax benefits and the long-term benefits, but also you get to enjoy some of the risks that go into being a real estate investor and operator and so forth. So I want to encourage y'all to explore the different opportunities out there. We today are seeing a lot of opportunities with notes, with private mortgages, okay? And also with turnkey properties right now in Kansas City and the surrounding metropolitan areas. That's where we are seeing a pretty big play. And again, markets change, things change. In the future, there may be more value add, fixer-upper type opportunities, but again, you have to look at your risk tolerance, you know, putting that capital to placing that capital, deploying it effectively, strategically, and for most of what we do, 98+% of what we're looking to do is placing the capital and enjoying cash flow for the next 5 to 10 plus years. And so that, to me, that seems to be a little bit more safe. Okay, again, depending on what you are looking to do, the short-term transaction opportunities are there. There's wholesale, assigning, wholesale, still do fix it flip, you can still do buy, renovate, refi, but just know that in a lot of cases today, it's gonna cost just as much, and you're gonna take months, if not a full year or longer, to be able to get through the construction, renovation. And then from there, if you wanna keep the thing, you gotta have the financing, the gap funds and so forth straight. So again, I'm looking at encouraging y'all to look at if you're able to source, generate, raise capital on the front end. Again, if this is your goal to create cash flow, which is our number one goal, which will then produce, hopefully free you up, more time freedom, lifestyle freedom, so forth, getting the capital sorted out on the front end. And we have ways to show you how to do that with your sphere of influence. Talk to us, reach out to me or one of my colleagues. I can get you in touch with one of my mentors or an associate or a partner who is active doing this type of thing today, and we can give you solid real-time feedback on what that looks like, what it takes, how much capital you may need, how much you may be paying for gap funds, for short-term debt, second lien position debt, hard money loans, long-term DSCR non-QM loans. Talk to us about that, as well as, okay, if we're gonna do a rehab, where is the opportunity? If we wanna do A class, B class, or C class, what's that gonna be like? Is it really, really worth it to be able to take that on? If you're wanting experience and you're cool placing money and maybe not getting all of it back, then that's a different ballgame, all right? We're in it to create profits. We're in it to create positive cash flow revenue, okay? And minimizing risk, limiting exposure. So if that sounds cool to you, hit me up and we can kind of get you plugged in. Again, investor financing, seller financing, looking at that, okay? My last video, or a post that I did on social media as well, I gave an overview, bird's eye view of what it's like, or what it could be like for you to be part of a real estate investment firm. Those three big things: the capital, okay? You got the operations, okay? And then you got your strategy. So if you want to know more, hit me up. I'll be doing more posts on LinkedIn, my handle on YouTube. If you like what you hear, you want to learn more, hit me up. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and keep me in mind. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.